Big thanks to Masterbuilt for sponsoring this video.
Out of all the barbecue hacks that we tried and tested, this one has a special place in my heart. I'm talking about this, and for the guys that have been watching this channel for a long time, they know what this means. They know that we're gonna use a spray bottle and we're gonna use an old-fashioned coffee machine. Before I'm gonna show you the details on this technique and explain to you what all these devices are for, we're going to take a look at what's for dinner. These are beef rib fingers, and they're the literal waste of beef ribs. No, I'm not talking about those beautiful rack of ribs. I'm talking about rib roast, for instance. Those bones normally go with the waste, and that meat gets grind up into burgers. But we have a better solution. Don't grind it up into burgers. Make beef rib fingers out of it. Look, absolutely freaking amazing. Why would you throw this away? That will be mad. You and me, we are going to turn this into the most delicious thing you've ever seen, because it looks really like crap right now, which it is. I'm going to turn it into something really good. Let's start with some seasoning. I'm going to make the Pitmaster barbecue beef rub straight off our website. 2 tablespoons salt, 2 tablespoons black pepper, 1 tablespoon paprika powder, 1 tablespoon onion powder, and half a tablespoon garlic powder, and mix that up. Then it's time to sprinkle it on to the rib fingers and get a nice bit of seasoning on them, making them look gorgeous. They are starting to look like barbecue with the barbecue rub. This is the signature that makes it barbecue. I think that will do the job. Of course, I need to cook the rib fingers on something, and that's gonna be my favorite tiny smoker, even though it sometimes hurts me a little bit. Ow! Ouch. You see that? Take the charcoal grate out, stick in a little bit of waxed wood, light it up, put in some Masterbuilt lump charcoal, put in a chunk of smoke wood, plug in the power, turn it on, and close the lid. And then I'm going to wait until it gets a smoking temperature of 120 degrees Celsius. And by then I will no longer be touching the lid. I promise. Ouch. Now that the barbecue is up to temperature, I'm going to open up the lid carefully. I'm going to place my rib fingers onto the barbecue. Once they're on, close the lid and let the rib fingers smoke. Now let's talk about that hack again, because this is a great example. If we open it up, we can see that the outside of the rib fingers, even though they have been on for maybe 10 minutes, that it's starting to get dry on the outside. And that dryness is going to build up a crust. And that crust is called a bark. And we love the bark. That bark is also drying out of the outside. And if you're using a barbecue like this, which is an offset smoker, even though it's a miniature version of an offset smoker, you could be using an ugly drum smoker or a gravity fed smoker. Whatever type of smoker that you're using that creates hot, dry air, you want to counter that to make sure that that crust doesn't dry out the whole piece of meat. And especially with these rib fingers, they're not that thick, so the chance of drying out is bigger than when you have a big piece of meat. So what can you do? Well, some people put in a tray of water. Let me tell you, putting in a tray of water in a barbecue is not that great of an idea. I used to do it too when I thought it was a good idea, but you have risk of spills, creation of steam, and these things are just dangerous. Besides that, it's also going to ruin the inside of your barbecue, because you're going to get a very moist environment, which is not that fantastic. You'd rather have something light, something that you can apply straight to the crust of the meat instead of turning everything into a Turkish bathhouse. And that's why I created this hack. This is my old coffee machine, and I call this the science of barbecue. And basically this is the main tool. And this is an extraction machine that allows me, let's get this out, because I hope you understand what this is. This is my grandma's coffee machine. I hope you have one. Or you might want to go like in these kofferbak verkoop, yard sales. Anyway, go somewhere where you get one of these for cheap or next to nothing, or steal it from your grandma. And then put in 2 spoons of your barbecue rub, close it, put water in, there we go. And then just switch it on and watch the magic happen. And plug in the plug. I'm just getting excited. I'm starting in Dutch again. So this is not coffee. This is the brew of a barbecue rub. And that is magical because it's by barbecue science. Let's call this barbecue science. I can call this barbecue science. I think so. This is an extraction. And normally that's things that are preserved for laboratories. But you can do this with a coffee machine. We're making science right here, and that is why I'm calling this the greatest hack, because we can take this not coffee, this barbecue extraction, pour it into my spray bottle. And you definitely want one of those sturdy spray bottles that can handle a little bit of pressure and a little bit of heat. Then you want to pump it up, then you'll be able to spray it. Spray it directly where you need it to go. No bath required, just a little bit of spritz. Everything becomes absolutely perfectly moist and not over moist. No Turkish steam bath, just a little bit of aimed flavor. If you use a bath and you put beer in and wine and stuff like that and you think it's going to evaporate, guess again. Guess what evaporates? Yes, the H2O, but it's not going to take all the particles that are in it with it. So your beer is just going to be a reduction at the bottom and the water in it is going to evaporate, creating just a little bit of steam. And now we just spritzed that flavor of the barbecue rub on to the beef fingers. And that's why this is the greatest barbecue hack, well, forever. While the rib fingers are cooking, I promised Erwin I would recreate the cherry beer barbecue sauce for him. It's one of his favorites, and he said, whoa, where is my cherry beer barbecue sauce? I need that recipe, PitmasterX, because what am I going to do? Well, especially for you, we're going to recreate it and put it back on our website. And it starts with a cup of ketchup, a quarter cup of ketchup mayonnaise, otherwise known as sweet soy sauce, 3 tablespoons of Worcester sauce, a quarter cup of honey, a quarter cup of sugar, and a bottle of Kriek beer, which is a delightful cherry beer. Bring that up to a boil and reduce down by half so it becomes nice and thick again. After about 3.5 hours, the rib fingers are done. They're almost fall apart tender. They just have a little bit of bite left, and now it's time to get that delicious sauce on. The best barbecue hack in the world helped us to build a delicious crust, and now the sauce has to finish it off and build on the final layer of flavor. Let's get them off the barbecue, nice and sticky, onto the plate that is way too small. Why did you get this plate? Couldn't we get a bigger plate? You do realize that this is about the smallest plate we can possibly have. Look at the end result. Wow. Now tell me what your favorite hack is. I need to know. This is my favorite one. Do you like the 4-2-10 brisket method that we developed? What is your best experience with a hack? Could be even the snake method. Personally, I don't really like the snake method. Wow, beautiful smoke ring. Of course, it's not that thick, but it's juicy. It's got a smoke ring. Beautiful shine and bark on the outside. Wow. And of course, Evan, as promised, we put the recipe on the website. So if you want to make this, go check that out. It's going to be freaking awesome. So is the website. And so are you. Cheers.